Okay, so what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about building. We're going to talk about, you know, building a future. Part of building a future is knowing what it is you want. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you trying to get? You know, and I think when you really figure it out, some of us are operating. Anyway, so passion, what it is do you want? Okay, so I'm going to kind of draw out for you just kind of an idea. I want you to, the handy dandy whiteboard. There's like a spectrum when it comes to motivation, like what gets you out of bed, there's this, okay, there's two ends of the spectrum, okay? There's the get away from motivation. This is what you don't want in your life. And this is the go-to. Go-to. This is what you want. Okay? Now, some of us are motivated along this spectrum, and it is a spectrum. Okay? It is a spectrum. But on this line of motivation, this is where you are doing something that you're, you know, so it's real simple. It's like, for example, you don't want to be smelly, okay? So let's say smelly. You don't want to be smelly. So you the action is take a shower, hygiene, personal hygiene, right? Hygiene. That's a Y. Hygiene, personal hygiene. And then what you want to be is clean. Okay? You want to be clean. You don't want to be abhorrent to other people. Because you know that if you're smelly, got bad BO, and your hair is oily, you're going to be abhorrent to other people. People don't want to be around you. When you do this action, then you're clean. Like, I want to be clean, so I know I got to do this so I don't have this, okay? So this is a very simple example. Here's another one, weight. Okay, I don't want to be overweight. It's uncomfortable. I get winded, right? I don't want to be overweight. So there are things I could do. I could diet. I could work out. I could shut my pie hole. Shut pie hole. You ever try that diet, the shut the pie hole diet? I mean, I really wouldn't call that fasting. Fasting is a technique. Take a shower, smell like a flower. Is that how you get your kids to diet, workout, and then you know, the opposite of overweight is I guess fit. It's probably a fit, healthy. All right. So these are the spectrum of things you can do. Now, here's the interesting thing about the going away from and the going to is that it's sort of like, you know, here it's like 50-50, right? So getting away from being overweight does not necessarily mean that you land up over here. Okay, so if you're like, okay, I'm gonna do everything, I gotta lose 25 pounds, and the whole idea is I gotta lose 25 pounds, so you diet, you work out, and you get to the point here where you got your goal of 25 pounds. So the problem with hitting your goal at 25 pounds is you stop here, and then this is where, you know, you're just trying to lose, you're getting away from being overweight. So you get to here, but you stop here, and this is why the yo-yo thing happens. Then you go back, you backslide, right? It's like, man, I've given up Dairy Queen, peanut butter parfaits all this time. Now that I've lost 25 pounds, I could squeeze in one. So you go to Dairy Queen, it's like, I deserve one. I'm going to have one. I love peanut butter parfaits. Extra peanuts, baby. Yeah, I'm talking about me. Seriously, this is me, man. The spirit of true transparency. So this is where the yo-yo thing happens, man. Yo, yo, yo. And it just like, oh, but I gotta lose that. Okay, I'm here. I'm here, right? So the getting away strategy only works so much and only so far. All right. But what keeps you keeping this from being temporary in your life to get to here versus here, okay, to get fit and healthy? So this is just between doing something temporarily to get to here, okay, versus doing something permanent, which means a lifestyle change, where it is a permanent part of your lifestyle, okay? And the only way I've found for me to get to the go-to is the go-to has to have some emotional component. Because aren't we all driven by our emotions? We all are driven by emotions. We're all very emotional people. Now the question is, can that emotion be used for good or can it be used for ill? So I just told you the emotion of my competition, and this is where I got to guard myself, is my emotion of hating my competitors. And it's really, really strong inside me of going to that hate mode, right? Very unchristian, very, very unchristian. I got to guard against that emotion. But you know what? The competitive fire is a positive one of pushing myself beyond where I'm willing to go and not be driven from hate, but be driven by, man, just a desire to be better, desire to win, an emotion that is a positive emotion, right? That will keep you playing the game, that will keep you overcoming whatever obstacles. And so turning that emotion into the go-to strategy is to find, what does this right here, the fit and healthy, really mean? Okay, it's like finding pain, right? Like when you're sitting, talk about like last night when I did the ATM, you know, the finding pain part is, so tell me, what was on your mind when you filled this out? Take me back to when you filled this out. Were you here in the kitchen table? Were you open your mail? Do you remember when you put pen to paper? What were you thinking? What was on your mind? What was on your heart? Let's say, well, we're just interested in what this cost. You know, we think we need it, but okay, that's like, you know, that doesn't mean anything. It's logical, right? No, really, tell me, okay, so what does that mean? What does hard mean to you? What does tough mean to you? What does burden mean to you? You know, you're using their words. Well, it's the same thing here. Like, what does fit and healthy really mean? Is it the means to an end? Is it the end? Is it the end I want, is to be fit and healthy? Well, that's logically correct. I mean, logically, wouldn't we all want to be fit and healthy? Like, is that logical? But if we all know that that's a logical reason to do it, why is the America, high percentage of us, okay, and I know plenty of you are not, but high percentage of us are obese. You know, we tip the scale on the obesity scale, like seriously. And it's like, so why is it, if it's logically makes sense, then how come people aren't doing it? Well, all kinds of reasons. All kinds of reasons. We fall into bad habits of, you know, loading up on carbs. We're all carbohydrate addiction people. Hello, my name's Alex, and I'm a carbohydrate addiction. Carbohydrate addiction. CA. You know, I mean, and so what does this really mean emotionally? So what I got to do is I got to think about, what does fit and healthy really mean emotionally for me? The thing that probably drives me when I think about this, fit and healthy, the emotion I can attach to it is I want to live to influence my grandchildren, the children of my children. And when I mean influence, I want to be alive to directly influence them. I want to tell them stories about their daddy, Athen, and about their mommy, Zoe, and about their... I can't even imagine what's that like. Being able to tell them how awesome their daddy is because he worked his butt off in ROTC, and you should be proud of him because he's a pilot in the Air Force. He's serving his country, and he loves his country dearly. He wants to serve his country as a pilot in the Air Force. You should be proud of your daddy. You know, I know you got to move every so often, but you know what? It's worth it because America needs your daddy to go fight wars, and you should be proud of him. I want to be able to tell my grandchildren that. Right? I want to be able to be around so I can tell them and edify their parents and what they've done so they can look at them as examples. I want to be able to brag on my children to my grandchildren. When I think about that, that just kind of brings out all this richness of emotion in me. Like I want to be able to live to influence my grandchildren. Now let's do an experiment here. Let's talk about influence and legacy. And I want you to chat at me. How many of you know your grandparents' names? Okay. Okay, I'm going to assume you do. Some don't because maybe you were adopted and you don't know, but maybe if your adopted parents, you know their mother and father, okay? So I'm going to probably assume that you do. Okay, now here's where I want you to start chatting at me. How many of you know the names of your great-grandparents? Your grandparents' mother and father on both sides. How many of you know their names? Say, just shout at me yes, if you do. I've got 17 people on here. I guess 2 people got bored. Yes, we got Dan England, you got Joy. What side of the family? Yes. Kathy Adamson, yes. So the names, so your great-grandparents, you know their names. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't care if it's just, you know, if it's father's side, mother's side, whatever. Okay, so we got a good number of people. Harriet, no. Okay, for those of you who said yes, because you're in the running now. So we're already at great-grandparents. Great-grandparents. Okay, how many of you know your great-great-grandparents' names? Like you can tell me what they are without looking anything up. Like you could tell me, yeah, it's Joe and Mary Smith, and on my, you know, and Steve and Lori, whatever. Like you could do it right now. Like you could tell me right at this moment who they are, and you could tell me something that they did for their career. Any yeses from the people that said yes before? How many of you can say yes now? Kathy, oh, private. Private. I don't know how to look at that. And here's why I say that is because people that you know the names right away. Like, tell me who your best friends are. Tell me who your upline is. Tell me who your favorite uncle. What is that person's name? Who's your godparent? What are your godparents' names? Okay, we got Dan. There's only one. He's got one that he can come up with like right now. He's got one great-great-grandparent. So out of all those people that said yes here, I only have one. Okay, so Dan, how about, can you tell me your great-great-grandparents' parents' names? Can we go back this far? No. Wow. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That your influence This person here doesn't know. That's crazy because you got your parents, and then there's you. So there's a few of you who got here. There's one person that got here, and I think there is 0 that got here. Is that correct? So that's 1 generation, 2 generations, 3, 4. Interesting, isn't it? That there'll be people, this is you, there'll be your children, your children's children, your children's children's children who won't even know your name. Your children, your children's children, probably for sure, your children's 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 children won't even know who you are. They won't know your name. They probably won't even know what you've done in your life. All they know is that their parent has a parent, has a parent. And we all know that parents. Is that sobering to you? Is that sobering to you to know that your influence is only a few generations? Like maybe your children, your children's children, maybe your children's children's children? That's pretty sobering in my opinion. So what legacy are you going to leave? The only legacy you can leave is in your children and maybe your children's children as a grandparent. And if God grants you enough time on this earth, maybe your children's children's children, maybe you're a great-grandparent. Like Tanya, she's a great-grandparent, I believe, right, Tanya? I think so. Anyway. So, you know what? If I can be alive long enough, Lord willing, because it's a two-way street. I could drive myself there sooner if I don't take care of my health, but I want to live to influence my great-grandchildren or my grandchildren. If I can be there to influence them, man, that would be awesome. Now, do you see how you can turn this from just getting rid of 25 pounds just because I want to look good? How emotional is looking good? I want to fit in good clothes. I want to look good. That's a little bit not very permanent and profound. I want to look good. That's more vanity, right? Vanity, vanity. Everything is vanity. When you kind of look at this, living to influence my grandchildren, that's really kind of vanity too. But I think this is way more vain if this is what you want to do. And this is why we get here and then we go back. We get here, go back. We get here, go back, because you're trying to get away from it, but it's not something that drives you where there's emotion. I'll put a heart here to represent the emotion. Love is a strong emotion. Here, this is getting away from is like the lowest part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is basic security, food, shelter, right? That kind of stuff. Here, what do we call it? Self-actualization, which is really knowing why you're here, why God put you on this planet, and doing what he wants you to do. Fit and healthy. This is how you put emotion into what it is you really, really, really want, so that you can put into motion, driven by this emotion, put into motion the actions and habits that get you here. Now, here's the thing. This stuff is stuff that will get you through the hard stuff, the mundane stuff where you're bored, right? When you're bored, when you're not feeling motivated, when you're feeling like a slug, when you just want to take a break. This is what you got to think about. This is what you got to put in front of you to get you out of it. It's kind of like what on a racetrack. I don't know much about dog racing, but dog racing, isn't there like a fake rabbit or something that they have kind of going around the track to motivate the dogs to run? I've seen it. I think that's dog racing, right? Someone chat at me, let me know if I'm right on our track. But there's like this fake rabbit, and they just have this thing sucker, and the dogs are chasing it, right? Right? The dogs are chasing it. But if you let a dog just go on the racetrack, they don't even know what they're chasing. They're just kind of running around. Maybe they're going to run because they've been trained to run around a track, but they're not chasing anything, and they're just kind of, yeah, fake rabbit. Okay, fake rabbit. I knew Paul you would know. I knew Paul Manius would know. And they would just go. But when they're chasing something, man, they will give every ounce of work and effort to chase that thing. They want it bad. They're going to just, run until they drop. Isn't that interesting? This is like, we're talking about a dog. The most basic instinct for them, these greyhounds, is to just chase this thing, right? And that's how you can get like the most out of them, right? So what is this for you? Okay, we talk about fluffy stuff like losing weight, but you know what? This is like a real thing. This is a real thing. The heart and soul. What it is you want in your life. What do you want? So, like in this business, what does this business mean to you emotionally? Now, look, I'm all for you starting here. If you got to start here because your financial picture is terrible, right? You want to get away from, and typically, I'll tell you what the emotions are driven from to get away from. Where you're sick and tired, right? That's emotional. Sick and tired of living the way you've been living. Sick and tired of being broke all the time. Sick and tired of wondering, how are you going to support your family? Wondering if your two young kids have any kind of future that you can provide for them. Can you launch them off in a better position than you were? Heck, maybe some of y'all aren't even in the same position you were when you were a kid. Your position is worse today than when you were growing up, and you're putting your kids in a worse situation. You're thinking, God, I love them, man. I love my children. Okay, so what are you going to do? Tell me, Bo, what are you going to do to give them a shot? Are you going to say, well, a lot of people came out of poverty and low means have become great? I know. So if you want to take them down that road, that's your choice. I've taught my kids in the environment that we are in this business, how to chase after something. We never gave our kids anything. The only time they got gifts was on their birthday and Christmas. Whenever they asked for anything, we wouldn't give it to them. It's like, well, when's your birthday? Man, that's hard. No, we taught them, if you want it, let's save up for it. Are you willing to work for it? Yeah? Okay, I want you to do this for me, and I'll pay you. I'll pay you a penny a page if you read a book. That's how some of our kids made money. A penny a page when they would read a book that we choose for them, right? They would earn their money. They learned how to work hard because, our money was not their money. They didn't think they had access to wealth. So we made them work. So I'd rather be in a position of being that way than being so broke that I couldn't give them anything anyway if I wanted to. I couldn't give them nothing on Christmas except my love. Well, my love should be good enough. I hear you, Bo. I hear you. So sick and tired really works. Really works. Maybe you've got debt. What, school loans that you're trying to refinance? Maybe you're behind on car payments. And Mr. Repo Man's lurking. Maybe every time you run your credit card or debit card, you hold your breath. Actually, I ran my debit card and we had like 10 grand in it and it came back disapproved. And it's done that several times. And my card is freaking acting really, really weird. It's one of those chip cards and the magnetic strip is real screwed up. And when this happens, I want to tear someone's head off. Because when I check my account, there's like over $10,000 in that dadgum account. I want to go back there. I want to just pinch the head off that waiter. I want to pinch the head off of them. It's like, what the heck, right? But that's way different than when it happened before, when back in the day, when I give someone my credit card, it's like, oh God, a credit card, but mind you, credit card, not even a debit card. And I would go back, I'd hold my breath going, Lord, please let it go through. Please let it go through. Please let it go through. How many of y'all been there, man? Lord, please let it go through. Just holding your breath. Yeah, don't want to go back to a job. Yeah, maybe you're just, the environment you're working in, your job is toxic, not pleasant. You hate it. You're a prisoner. Tell you what, you can put all kinds of emotional stuff here, okay? So this business, the alliance, can get you moving from here to getting away, at least to here, okay? Let's get you out of that. But we all can agree that we have these emotional reasons to do it. But then what is your game plan to at least get here? Tell me what your game plan is. And if that's your game plan, are you executing it? Okay, because we can provide you the game plan. Okay, and then you have to provide the execution. You want to get away from this? One thing we know is that you need to make dials. You need to dial the phone. You need to get a hold of people. Some of y'all, you need to get your license. You need to work your butt off and get your license and passing that test. And what's amazing is as hot as it is here, the temperature is here, the amount of effort in doing these things are just questionable. And I know there's a lot of excuses out there. That's all they are. They're excuses, aren't they? I mean, I don't got to tell you that. You know that in your heart of hearts. I know because I have plenty of excuses why I'm not going to the gym when I could go to the gym. I got plenty, man. I got probably more excuses than you for not going to the gym. That's not going to get me closer to being around and influence my grandkids, is it? So then I question, how much do I really want to do that? Because what you do is a reflection of how bad you want something. Andy has always told me this. You cannot stop anybody who wants something bad enough. You can't, like, I'll give an example of my son. My son, Athen, man, he is driven. When he wants something, nothing's going to stop him. He wanted to, what was the thing that he wanted? He wanted to buy a computer. There was no talk him out of it. He wanted to buy an Apple computer. He felt he needed it. He wanted it. He was going to do anything to get it. And so we gave him little jobs to start earning the money for it. He sold some stuff that he had to get some money for it. And every time he socked the money away, baby, he would just put it away. And little by little, over the course of several months, it wasn't overnight, but he understood what he had to do and how much he needed. He saved enough money to do it. And by the way, working for me too, my kids have jobs for me. They're part of my recruiting staff because they directly email candidates. So they're part of our, and now they're going to texting. So they're going to directly text candidates on our Text Us app. And they make like $7 an hour. It's like really, it's below minimum wage, I believe. $7 an hour below minimum wage. What is minimum wage anyway? I have no idea. Anyway, I think it's below. I don't want to pay a minimum wage. I want to give them what is it? Well, what do they call that when you pay someone slave labor? I think actually we make them pay taxes on it too. Hey man, I'm not going to let them off the dadgum hook. Anyway, and so he was relentless. And when he got it, it was like nirvana. He was so happy. But here's what happened, is that his self-image went up because he knew it could work for something that he wanted bad enough. And I was not going to deny him. So the next thing he wanted was a real nice camera, one of these Canon EOS cameras. And that was like $700. Like $700. And he worked his butt off to get that. Like that kid has no, that's why I know he's going to be a great pilot. Because when he wants something bad enough, he will not be denied. Right? And so what is that for you? Are you driven that way where you're going to do anything and everything you can to get what it is you want, which is starting here, getting away from this stuff? How bad are you sick and tired of being broke? How bad are you sick and tired of your wife asking you, honey, do we have enough money for groceries? Honey, do we have enough money for milk for the baby? And they're asking you, do we have enough money? How sick and tired of you are that? Or are you going to have to call your mom, say, Mom, we need a little bit because, you know, how many times are you sick and tired of that? Like, what are you sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of I don't know what it is. But I measure how bad you want something. I know it's hard, but tell me how bad you want it. And when I look at your doll counts, I look at, you know, not your, I mean, when I say you, yeah, I do mean you. A guilty conscience needs no accuser, okay? A guilty conscience needs no accuser. You know, and Andy, this is another way to say it that Andy Albright likes to say, if the shoe fits, Cinderella, if the shoe fits. But your doll counts do not reflect how, to me, that you want something bad enough. Because I look at, you know, 50 dials or 23 dials. You know, what impresses me is 300 dials. Like, Paul, did you make 300 dials yet, Paul Manius? He texted me, and he booked like 8 appointments on old leads, right? I think they're old leads, dude. What did you text me last night? You texted me something last night that I was fired up about. Paul. 200 dials, 8 appointments. $300 tomorrow. So when you say $300, does that mean you're going to get to 300 like today? You're going to do 100 more, right, to get to 300? You booked 8 appointments. Okay, now, if you look at the text message, look what he says here. I'll get to 300 today to get to 500. He'll do 300. Okay. I was just clarifying. Don't want to go back to my old fudging job. Indentured servants. Okay, so that's the talk. But what is the action behind the talk? $200 yesterday, he's going to do 300 today. So that tells me someone wants something bad enough. So your measure in our business is how many dials did you make? Or if you're studying for your license, how many chapters did you get done last night? Well, I got tired. Hey, I'm tired all the time. I come in here at 8:45 and I'm exhausted. And I do the boot camp because I committed to these people that I'm going to teach them how to make sales in the home. I get done at about 11:20, and then I'm on the phone recruiting for Joy. She had a sharp dude that's here in Cincinnati that's coming to the hotspot meeting, and I'm recruiting him. And then another buddy of mine, oh, and then Lauren Maxwell wants me to counsel her on doing a mortgage protection appointment today, and I give her a game plan there. Then one of my buddies from outside my business who, you know, he's at a 105 contract, I forgot whether he's a DM, called me to get some advice. So I'm on the phone with him until about 12:30, and then I get home. And I'm like the only one in this building. My car's the only one that's there when I get here, and I'm the only car that's leaving. And there is something profoundly awesome about knowing that I'm the only one there working, because my dream is so big that I don't count the hours. I count the number of people I served, right? And I feel pretty darn good about myself. So you want to know how to increase your self-image? Work your freaking butt off when other people are sleeping. A little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will overtake you. That's biblical. A little sleep, someone chat at me, where can you find that verse? A little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will overtake you like a thief in the night. I'm paraphrasing that. That's the Alex Avian version. If you guys know that, I'll be impressed. Little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will overtake you like a thief in the freaking night. Yeah, Proverbs. So when I look at, I'm going to drive now. I'm on the 917, 917. Okay. Like how, okay. That tells me everything I need to know. Tell me how busy your calendar is. People will figure out how to overcome if they want something bad enough. If you want something bad enough, right? But what gets you, so you get out of here, but what gets you here? What is the emotional reason why you want to do this business? Providing for your family, serving God's will for you, wanting to hear, well done, good and faithful son, daughter, well done. Servant. Never going back. That's more of this. It's more of the getting away from. So what is it? Because when you start getting away from this, you need to have something to look ahead. Because when stuff goes bad, as they want to do, as they will do, just because life, whether you're in this business or not, it's still going to happen. At least in this business, you have hope that you have a vehicle that you can drive to get out of what you're in and to get here. Man, so why quit? Because what else are you going to do? Tell me, what other game plan do you have when you got people that help you? People will give you everything they got to help you. How many businesses out there where you got someone who will free of charge help you get out of this crap here? Who will be on the phone at midnight helping you prepare for a game plan for your next appointment? How many people are going to help you do something like that, right? I don't know many. I don't know how many. All I know is in this business, you got people that will love you, support you, help you get out of the junk you're in. You got guys like Tim Goad who will talk to you and help you get your mind right. You got all these hotspot meetings and functions. And like, what other thing are you going to do that you can get all that? You cannot discount that, man. And so what is the price? The price is you making dials. The price is you reaching out to other people, see if they're looking for an opportunity. Like, is that such high a price? I don't think so. 6:10, Proverbs 6:10. Yeah, I love that Bible app. Proverbs 6:10. So the Bible app. So do you really keep the scriptures in your heart, or are they on your iPhone? You know, it's great when you can look it up. Amen. So what do you got to do? What do you got to figure out? Gang, you got to figure this out. You got to figure out the why that makes you cry. What is the why that makes you cry? That's this right here. But you know what? You got to figure out other things that get you through the mundaneness and through the junk. This will help you do that. Maybe a little competition, okay? You got to figure out how to turn all of this into a habit so you don't even think about it anymore, where it becomes unemotional. What I love about turning an emotional thing into a habit is you don't need the emotion anymore because it's already a habit of how you live your life. Like when you wake up in the morning, do you have to decide whether or not you're going to take a shower and brush your teeth? No. Hygiene does not become a conscious decision because you want to be healthy and, you know, do you see how like mundane that is? Getting back to the original example, it's become a habit in your lifestyle where it's not an emotional thing. Do you see how powerful that is? It's turning brushing your teeth, turning this to brushing your teeth. turning this into what you do when you wake up and what you do when you go to bed. How many times do you brush your teeth? You should brush it after every meal. But hey man, I'll be happy you just did it before you went to bed. And then you brush all the crap from your mouth when you wake up. But it's a habit, it's something that you do. Can you imagine turning all of the business building stuff into those kind of habits where you don't need to figure that out? You've already got this figured out, but you turned the habits into you getting this. Do you think your life is going to be so much easier? Do you think that making decisions when stuff gets hard is going to be a lot easier when you've got the habits to do it? The struggle that we agonize over is turning the things that we want into the habit that will help us get it. It's a struggle, but once it's a habit, it no longer becomes a struggle. It's deciding I would need this to be a habit. So what do I need? What I need to do to make it a habit? I need to do it all the time, every time, with no decision on whether or not I should do it. It becomes that for me. And when you can turn into a walking, talking machine of habits that will lead you here, that it is the road, this game plan turns into a map of your life that will lead you here, then everything else becomes simple. You made your life simple. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come over you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. Thank you, Joy. Can I hear an amen on that? And we're walking around sleeping. We're walking around slumbering because you don't got that emotion to get us moving. So here are simple things. Like, how do you turn this into something? Represent that with pictures. Pictures. Simple pictures if you're visual, especially if you're visual. Pictures on a dream board. What is on your dream board? What represents this emotion for you? How many of y'all have a dream board? I learned this in the Amway business. What are the pictures on your dream board? What are things, words or phrases that get you into this state of this? I mean, I don't got time, but I could teach you NLP anchoring that will just turn it on instantly when you need it. That'll be the subject of another conference call. Does this make sense? This whole map of motivation, the getting away from, the going to, the turning all of this into a game plan and turning that game plan into a habit so that you're always getting this. This is like your guide. It doesn't matter the bumps you're going over to get here, right? All of a sudden, when you're looking up at your goal instead of looking down at the bumps look like mountains when you're looking down here. When you're looking up at the goal, you're just running. And those bumps might trip you up a bit, but you're just running towards something. You are the greyhound chasing that rabbit because you know if you get that rabbit, you're going to get the reward. So turn yourself into a greyhound, baby. Go after that rabbit where everything inside you is going to push you through all the hurt, the pain, the suffering, because you're looking up towards the prize, right? So you got to know what that prize is so it makes everything else worth it. And then we're going to help you turn it into a habit by surrounding you with people that are going to support you, that will keep you going until it becomes who you are. It's not what you do. When the alliance goes from what you do to who you are, then man, nothing's going to stop you, I promise you, because you cannot stop anyone if they want something bad enough. Does that make sense, gang? So, rock on. Let's do this thing. Get on the leaderboard. Go get some dials. Show me that you want it. Show me that you want it. Let's get on the leaderboard next week. Let's do a small, simple goal. Can you find someone to sit in front of to sell them a life insurance policy because it's going to help them protect their families? I don't care if it's on a lead. I don't care if it's warm market. I don't care. Show me that you care enough about what it is you want and what you're trying to get away from that you're going to write something on somebody, for those of you who are licensed. If you're not licensed and you're studying to get your license, well, do a bunch of chapters tonight. Take the test next week, right? Work your butt off. A little sleep, a little slumber. A little sleep, a little slumber, man. Little folding of hands. Anyway, man, God bless. Rock on. I love you, man. Let's do this thing.